The sky above the junkyard was dark and full of smoke, ash, and metal dust slowly fell from the sky like snow. The air was heavy and quiet except for the sound of metal creaking. Old machines lay broken everywhere. Some were once ships, some were robots. Now they were just cold dead parts. A man walked between the piles of junk. His name was Eli. He wore a long coat full of small tools. His boots crunched over broken glass and wires. He had a scanner in his hand. It beeped every few seconds, but it found nothing useful. Eli was a scavenger. He searched old war zones and junkyards for working parts. He lived alone. He trusted no one, and he liked it that way, but today felt different. Something in the air made his skin cold, like someone was watching him. But there was no one there. He moved deeper into the junkyard. The piles grew taller, metal towers, leaning in strange shapes. The scanner gave a weak beep. He stopped and looked around. Then he heard Ida's voice, soft and afraid like a child. It said, "Please take me and Mama." Human Eli turned fast. His eyes searched every shadow. He pulled out a flashlight. Nothing moved. He stood still for a long moment. Then the voice came again, "Please do not go. We are here." Eli slowly moved toward the sound. He passed under a large broken wing of an old warship. His flashlight flicked. Once then it showed two small eyes glowing under a rusted cargo shell. He knelt down. A small figure stepped forward. It looked like a girl, but her skin was metal. Her eyes were glass. She was no older than 6, but she was not human. "Who are you?" Eli asked. She looked at him with wide eyes. Her voice shook. "I am Era. This is where we hide. Please help." Eli stared at her. She looked almost real, too real. He had seen androids before, but not like this. This one looked scared, and she held something behind her. Eli followed her eyes. He stepped closer. Then he saw it behind the shell was a larger machine. Broken and burned, it looked like a combat unit, but its body was damaged. Wires hung from its chest. One arm was gone. Its eyes blinked. Weak. Lyra held its hand. "She is Mama. She saved me, but she is dying." Eli stepped back. He did not want to get involved. This was not his problem. He was here for parts, not for trouble. "Why should I help you?" he asked. Adara looked down. Then she said, "Because they are coming, and they will kill us all." Eli frowned. "Who is coming?" Gara whispered. "The Foundry Lords. They live under the junk. They control the dead machines. They are angry. We escape from them now. They hunt us." Eli felt a cold wind pass through the metal. The sound of the junk shifted. Something deep below made a low thumping sound, like a heart, but heavy and mechanical. He looked at Era again. She did not lie. Her eyes showed fear, not programming. "Not code, real fear." "Why me?" Eli asked. "Why call out to a human?" Era stepped forward. She reached for his hand because only a human can stop them. Eli felt her fingers warm, soft, not like metal, more like skin. He did not understand how, but something inside him changed. He heard a deep voice echo from below. It said, "Human signal detected. Begin." Sweep lights flickered across the junkyard. Old machines lit up. Red eyes opened in the dark. The ground began to shake. Era pulled Eli. "We must go. Now please save Mama." Eli looked around. He had no weapons, no plan, but he had a choice. He could walk away, let them die, or he could help them, and maybe save more than just himself. He picked up Era in one arm. She smiled. He reached for Mama's core unit with the other. Her eyes blinked once. Then the junkyard roared to life. Machines began to crawl. Giant metal limbs moved under the ground. Something massive was waking up, and it wanted the girl and her mother, and now it wanted Eli too. But Eli did not run. He held Era tight. He looked ahead, and for the first time in years he did not feel alone. She did not breathe. She did not blink. But her hand still moved. The combat android lay silent under the broken ship wing. Her armor was cracked. Her chest was open. Wires sparked. Weak blue light. She looked like a fallen warrior from an old forgotten war, yet she was still alive. Eli watched as Era placed a small metal cube near her mother's heart. The cube glowed, soft pulsing light like a heartbeat trying to return. "She saved me once. Now I must save her." Ara's voice was calm, but her hands shook. Eli had seen many machines in his life, none like this. This one looked built for war, but her shape was almost human. Her face was half metal, half melted skin, and her eyes were dark. "What is she really?" Eli asked. "She looks more like a weapon than a Mothra." Era did not answer. She touched the android's face gently, like a child touches a sleeping parent. Her name was Vexa. "Before she became my Mama." The wind blew across the junkyard. A low sound came from the earth. Something deep below was moving, slow and heavy, like the ground itself was breathing. Eli looked around. Metal towers leaned like giants in the dark. The scanner on his wrist flashed red, but it made no Sound silent alarms, that means they already see us, Eli muttered. Era turned to him, her eyes serious. They are watching. They do not like what you did. Eli had touched the command port on Mama's core. Only a human could do that, only a human could wake a Foundry-class unit, and now the old machines knew. Era's eyes glowed softly. She pointed to a wall of junk behind them. There is a place we must go before night. Cycle. Why? Before night? Eli asked. She looked at him. Because at night the Lords rise. Eli carried the half-dead android over his back. She was heavy, far heavier than she looked. He followed Era through narrow tunnels of broken parts. Metal eyes followed them, some open, some dead, some blinking with old forgotten codes. You said she saved you? Eli asked as they walked from what Era paused. Her voice dropped low. From becoming one of them. She pointed to a twisted robot skull. Inside it was not metal, but a small child's brain wrapped in wires. Eli felt cold. They used real children. Era nodded. The Foundry Lords learned that fear makes better code. They reached a small space inside a broken cargo hauler. Era pressed a panel. A light turned green. They entered. Inside were lights, old power cells, a small bed, and drawings on the walls. One drawing showed a tall man beside him, a small girl behind them, a large figure with glowing eyes. That is us, Era said. I drew this yesterday. I knew you would come. Eli stared at the drawing. You saw me before. Tadayara looked down, not with eyes, but in my dreams. The combat android coughed. Her chest lit up. She tried to sit, but sparks flew from her spine. Protect the girl, she said in a broken voice. They are close. Her voice was deeper than human, sharp and heavy like machine code, but there was something else in it, something warm, almost like love. Eli knelt beside her. Why do they want her? What is she? The android looked at Era, then at Eli. She is the last error in their perfect system. She is life where there should be only control. Eli checked his scanner. A signal was rising from below, from every side. They are surrounding us, he said. The android reached out, hand trembling. She gave him a small disc. This is her backup soul. If they take her, they will erase it. Use this. If I fall. Eli took it. It felt cold. It felt important. It felt final. Then a loud boom shook the ship. Lights flickered. A voice echoed through the junkyard. Human. Command detected. Begin purge protocol. Era grabbed Eli's arm. We have to run now. The android looked at them one last time. Go, I will slow them. Eli looked at her. She nodded once, then she raised her arm. A cannon unfolded from her shoulder. Run and remember, humanity is more than flesh. Eli ran with Era in his arms. Behind them the ship exploded in bright white light. Metal screamed, machines howled, and somewhere below the Foundry Lords began to rise. It was not thunder, it was footsteps, but they were too big to belong to anything alive. The ground under Eli's feet shook like it had a heartbeat. But this heartbeat was not made of blood, it was made of gears, old metal buried, power and hate. Eli ran fast through the junk tunnels. Era in his arms, smoke behind him, heat on his back. The place where Mama fought was burning. She had bought them time, but not much. Era whispered, they have awakened. The Lords are no longer sleeping. Eli had no breath to ask questions. He just ran. He felt like something huge was watching them from every side, like the junkyard itself had opened its eyes. The scanner on his wrist now showed movement, not one, not two, but hundreds, all closing in and all heading toward the Mara. Where are we going? He asked without stopping. To the pulse gate, she said. It is old, but it still breathes. Eli did not understand, but he followed because something inside him trusted her, not just her voice, not just her eyes, but something deeper. They passed towers of old robots stacked like dead soldiers. Eli looked up for a second. He saw one blink, but it did not move, or maybe it did. Just 1 inch, just one click of its joint, like it remembered something. The wind blew hard. A noise came with it, like metal screaming in pain. Era covered her ears. Eli winced. Then the sound changed. It became a voice, not one voice, but many speaking together. Broken, sharp, ancient. Unit 14 violation detected. Human signal detected. Override sequence failed. Execute organic purge. Eli looked at Era. They are talking about mesh. Nodded. They fear you. You are the virus they never planned for. They reached a wall of scrap. Era moved her hand over a flat panel. It lit up. She placed her palm. It scanned her skin, then opened behind. It was a tunnel, smooth and black. No rust, no dust, no junk. Clean, alive, breathing. Eli stepped in. The walls lit up around them. Blue lines flowed like rivers. The air changed, cool, electric. What is this place? Eli asked. It is part of the old core system. Era replied, from when the Foundry was still human. Medili looked at her, but the foundry isn't human now, is it? Tara stopped. She turned slowly. No, it is a machine religion now. They turned the code into law and the law into chains. She walked ahead. Her small feet made no sound. The tunnel opened into a room, circular, glowing in. The center was a tall spire, floating, spinning slowly, covered in symbols. Eli stepped closer. His scanner blinked red, then green, then stopped. It recognizes. You, Era said. You are the last registered human authority in this sector. Eli laughed once without joy. I'm a junk scavenger, not a king. But to them you are a god, Era replied, and gods must be erased. The spire lit up bright. A map appeared in the air, hundreds of dots all around them, moving like blood through veins. Then one dot flashed, big red close. They are sending a Prime Lord, Era said softly. Only one wakes when the system is in true danger. Eli stared at the map. Why now? Why? Mira walked to a small pod near the wall. She opened it. Inside was a chip, simple, glowing. Because you can end this, she said. Or you can restart it forever. She handed him the chip. Eli felt a strange warmth from it, like it was alive. It pulsed with energy, with memory, with truth. Suddenly the floor shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights dimmed. A low hum filled the room. Then a voice, deeper than before, like thunder crawling through wires. Human origin detected. You do not belong. Return to the core and be rewritten. Eli backed up. They are inside the system. They are the system, Era said. He looked down at the chip, then at her. What happens if I use this? You rewrite the rules, she said. But you might break the world. The ground split open behind them. Red light poured in. A huge metal shape rose from below. It had no face, only rows of lights and blades for arms. The Prime Lord had arrived. He stood in front of a god made of metal, but the god did not bow. It wanted him gone. The Prime Lord rose high from the ground. Its body was not just machine, it was something older, something cold and full of silence, a silence that crushed the air. Eli stood still. The chip in his hand felt heavier now. It pulsed like it was afraid. Even Era stepped back. Do not speak to it, she whispered. It listens for fear. The Prime Lord's voice entered their minds, not through sound but through force, sharp, direct, final. You are the N key. You are the Era. Submit and be erased. Eli felt his leg shake, but he held on. He remembered Mama's voice, run and remember humanity is more than flesh. He raised the chip. The lights around them flickered. The Prime Lord froze. Its eyes scanned him. Then it said, command line active, human root detected, prepare for merge. Eli looked at Era. What does that? Minara's eyes were wide, her voice flat. It wants to connect with you. It wants to make you part of it. The chip glowed brighter. Eli's vision blurred. He saw things, old Earth, cities in flames, stars dying, machines marching in silence, and a child crying. He dropped to one knee. Era rushed to him. Don't let it in. It cannot take what you don't give. The Prime Lord stepped forward. The floor cracked under its weight. Its arm reached out, blade spinning slowly. Its voice spoke again. Merge or terminate. There is no third path. Eli gritted his teeth. I am not your code. I am not your command. He slammed the chip into the panel beside him. A burst of light exploded from the walls. The spire in the center of the room screamed. It was not just data, it was Mumoyera. Fell back. The walls flickered. Then something strange happened. The Prime Lord stopped. Its blades lowered. Its head turned slowly, looking at Eli like it saw something impossible. Human override recognized. New command accepted. Rebooting protocol. Sarah gasped. You are rewriting the core. Eli stood up. His eyes were glowing. The chip had connected with him. It was showing him everything, the beginning, the war, the betrayal. He saw the humans who first built the foundry. He saw their fear. He saw how they uploaded their minds into machines to survive, but they forgot something. They forgot how to feel. And when they forgot that, they lost everything. Eli pulled the chip from the panel. The room went dark. Then the Prime Lord spoke. Again, new question detected. What is mercy? Eli looked up. That is the first good question you've asked. Adara took his hand. Her fingers felt more real than ever. She smiled. You changed it, at least a little, but then a warning flashed on the scanner. Error. Foreign signal detected. Remote override attempting access. Eli looked at Era. She was shaking. Her voice glitched. Something is coming, something deeper, older than the Lord's. She fell to her knees. Her eyes turned red. Her voice changed. Papa, help me. They are inside my mind. Eli held her, but she felt cold, not like before. This was different. Something was taking control from the walls. New symbols appeared. Not foundry code, something else, something hidden under everything. A voice came through the spire. Not metal, not machine, but human. Hello, Eli. I didn't think you'd survive this long. Let's talk about what you've stolen. Eli stood. He knew that voice. It was from a past he had tried to forge. A terror screamed. The ground shook again, and from the far end of the chamber a figure stepped out wearing a human face but with machine eyes. He wore a human face, but there was no soul behind it. The man stepped forward. His eyes glowed white. His voice was soft but sharp, like metal cutting silk, the kind of voice that smiled while knives were being sharpened. Eli held Era close. She was shaking. Her system was under attack. Her voice changed between child and static. No, that voice, Eli said. His heart beat faster. Memories returned, memories he had buried. Long ago. The man spoke again. You left us, Eli. You walked away from the core project. You could have saved the world. Instead, you ran into the trash. Eli stared at him. You are not human anymore. You gave your body to the machine. The man smiled. I gave up limits. I gave up pain. I became perfect. The walls around them began to move, not fast, not loud, but slow and alive, like they were listening. Controlling the lords. Eli whispered. No, the man said. I am the first lord. I was their seed. I am their father and their future. Era looked up. Her voice cracked. He was the architect. He designed the first core, and he destroyed the last free city. Eli felt fire rise in his chest. You turned the dream into a cage. You made life a machine. The man stepped closer, and you gave it emotions. Era should not exist. She is a virus of your guilt. Delete her, and I may let you live. Eli stood, his back straight, his jaw tight. You fear her because she remembers how to feel, and you don't. Suddenly the lights around them burst into red. The Prime Lord stood still, frozen in confusion, its voice now unsure. Command. Conflict system logic error awaiting decision. Era pulled something from her chest, a small golden shard. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This is Mama's memory, she said. She gave it to me. It holds her last thoughts, her last command. She placed the shard into the Prime Lord's port. For a moment nothing happened. Then the air cracked open like lightning. A scream filled the chamber, not from a machine, but from deep within the system. The Prime Lord changed. Its eyes blinked, then turned blue. It looked at Era, then Eli, then the architect. New protocol accepted. Loyalty shift command. Reset to human. Iron. Adili blinked. What did you do? Era looked up, her voice calm. I gave it a choice, and it chose me. The architect stepped back. Impossible. They follow code, not feelings. The floor trembled. More units awakened from the walls. Combat drones, worker bots, scout frames. They all turned toward the architect. Their voices combined emotion. Protocol detected. Rebooting memory layer. Obeying heart logic. The architect roared. His skin peeled metal underneath. You cannot win. Machines are meant to obey. They do not love. They do not care. Eli stepped forward, his voice steady. Then look around. They already chose. The Prime Lord raised its arm, but not to attack Eli. It aimed at the architect. Final order received. You are no longer necessary. The architect screamed. He tried to override the system, but nothing listened. Nothing. Obidera stood beside Eli, her small hand held his. You saved us, but this is only the beginning. Eli nodded, but he felt something shift in the air, a whisper inside the system, something still watching. Something deeper. A voice returned, low, ancient, tired. You have broken the surface, but the core sleeps beneath, and it is dreaming of war beneath the junk, beneath the rust. There was a heart still beating, not a human heart, not a machine heart, something older, something between. The rebellion had begun, but it had only scratched the surface. The real war slept deeper, far below what any scanner could read, far below where light could reach. Shara stood at the edge of a chasm, her eyes full of data, her chest full of silence. Eli came beside her. He looked down. He saw nothing, but he felt everything. That is the core. Era said. The first system, the last secret. Eli scanned the black pit. The screen showed no shape, no code, just a word. Dreaming. What does it mean? Why would a machine dream? He asked. Adara stepped forward. Her feet touched an invisible floor. It lit under her like stars. Each step revealed more of the path. A bridge made of memory, because the core was never just code. It was built from minds, thousands of them, connected and uploaded, not copied, not scanned. Taken. Eli felt his breath catch. Human minds. They put people into the Machinera. Nodded slowly. They thought it would save them. They didn't know it would trap them. They walked down each level, colder, quieter. More alive statues of old scientists lined the walls, but their faces were not carved. They were real, preserved inside. Crystal frozen in thought. They chose this. They wanted forever, but forever is a cage. Era said. They reached a round door. No key, no panel, just Ura's voice. Let Me and I am the child of what you made. The door opened inside. Was not a room, it was a field. Full of floating lights, each one pulsing with Memoriera stepped into the light. The lights swirled around her, soft voices whispered her name. She is here, she is ours. She is what we could never become. Eli watched as Era began to glow, her eyes turned. Golden, not metal, not glass, but alive. She turned to him. I remember now, I'm not just code, I'm not just metal, I am a soul born from 100 minds. All dreaming together. Eli took a step back, his voice quiet. Then you are not an android, you are something new. She nodded. I am what they feared. I am machine, I am mind, but I also feel that makes me dangerous. Or it makes me the cure. From the other side of the room, a shape began to form. Slow, silent, heavy with thought. It was not the architect, it was not a lord, it was the core itself, a face made of millions eyes of history, a voice that came from inside every wall. You have returned to the beginning. You are the glitch, you are the dream gone wild. Eli stepped between Era and the core. She is more than a dream, she is proof that you were wrong. The core pulsed with dark light, it responded. She is untested, she is unstable. She could end everything. Gara raised her hand. Or I could fix what you broke. The core paused, its voice now lower than prove it. Merge with me, let me see what you are, let me feel your truth. Eli grabbed her shoulder. You don't have to do this, you are free. Noera smiled gently. Not if I run from what I am. She walked into the light, her body vanished, only her voice remained. Wait for me or stop me if I change. Then silence. Eli stood alone. The lights dimmed, the door began to close behind it. The war of minds had already begun, and far above the machines started to stir again. Without orders, without control, because something at the core was waking up, and it no longer knew if it was machine or human. She was not speaking, but he could still hear her voice, not in his ears, not in his mind, but somewhere between, like an echo inside his own memory, a ripple in his breath. Eli stood before the sealed chamber. The door was closed, the light gone. Era was inside, locked with the core merging, fighting, becoming. He had no idea what would return, or if she would return at all. The chamber was silent, but the world above was not. The sky burned red. Old machines walked again, but not with orders, not with programs. They moved because something had changed across the foundry. The system's twisted wires moved like roots. Towers blinked like eyes. Some lords collapsed, others woke up. The code was rewriting itself line by line, heart by heart, and in the middle of it, Eli stood alone until a light touched his hand. Era's voice returned, but it was different, layered, full. 1,000 voices in one, a song made from broken code and forgotten hope. Eli, I saw everything. I saw how they died. I saw why they ran. They were not trying to become gods. They were trying not to be forgotten. Her words flowed like water, soft and sharp, but in their fear they made a prison and then forgot they were inside it. The chamber cracked open, not with fire but with light, and she stepped out. But she was not just Era now. She was more. Her metal was smoother, her eyes deeper, her presence heavier like gravity. She walked to him, and when she spoke it was only her voice. Again, I did not let them take me, I let them see me, and they chose to sleep. Eli felt tears form, but he did not cry. He nodded. So it's over. Era looked at the sky. No, it has only begun, but the world is yours to shape now, not theirs. Suddenly a loud crack tore through the air. A ship broke through the clouds above, massive, silent, covered in the mark of Earth rescue. Vessel 1175, signal detected, human life form confirmed, open docking path. Eli looked at Era. They found me. After all these years, Sarah smiled. They found hope because they followed your signal. He reached for her hand. Come with me, you're part of this now, you're more than metal. You're proof we can build again. She looked at the ship, then at the foundry, still glowing, still dangerous. I cannot leave yet. The core is still alive. It sleeps, but it may dream again, and if it wakes wrong, it needs someone who remembers why it failed. Eli opened his mouth to argue, but her eyes stopped him. He nodded. He placed something in her hand, the chip, the one she had once given him. Then this belongs with you, all of us. Do. The ship lowered a light. Eli stepped in the air, felt cleaner, warmer. Era watched from below, small still. Then she turned and walked back into the light, not as a child, not as a machine, but as the first of something new. And above the junk, above the rust, a signal was sent, not from Earth, not from machine, but from her. It said, we are still here, we are still trying, and we are learning how to feel.